Okay, day three. Day three. You saw in part one. That was days 1 and 2. I got the chimney down. I assessed the waterproofing, the roofing, and I wrapped it up. We got a lot of rain in between that second day and now, which is probably about 5 days ago. I couldn't do any work on it, but I did pick up the chimney block. I did pick up a flue, and last night I picked up mortar mix and a bunch of other stuff. Yeah, a little butthole clenchy, but it's doable. How to go down a ladder? Maybe I should just do this while I'm up here. This is how I do it. You're more than welcome to do your own idea. Some people like to back in from this spot. I would not suggest going down frontwards. Some people like to do it, but I get next to it like this. Put my right foot down, put my right knee down, I mean, and I put my hand here. This foot I put on the first rung. You can do it with your heel, or if you can rotate that enough, you do it with your toe. But essentially, I put it on there, step up, rotate, and then step down to the next rung. I don't try and put my 2 feet on the same rung. That's how I do it. All right, we got 2 blocks on the roof, and we're about to get our mortar and supplies up there. I'm gonna show you what I'm working with. This is just this, Home Depot rapid set mortar mix, high strength. This comes with the sand already in it. It's expensive, but I mean, if you only need a couple of bags, it's probably the best way to go. It's super fast, and it's strong as hell. I think this stuff gets to incredibly, I think it gets to like 7,000 psi, which is unreal. Let's see it. Yeah, look at that. After 28 days, it gets to 6,500, but in 1 hour, it gets to 2,500. That's amazing. That's and now it's fast. So here. Let me tell you something. The faster this concrete, the mortar, sets up, the more prepared you need to be. That's the way it is. If you are not prepared and all set up correctly, and you start mixing this stuff up, forget it. Just throw it down on the ground, because it's going to be garbage. Here's the next thing: is you're on the roof. Normally, you'd have a tray like this. See these plastic ones right here? These big ones that I use for fishing? That's like a mortar bucket, right? That's where you mix up concrete. But with this rapid set, you can't use that on a roof, because it's going to dry so quickly that you'll never have a chance to wash it out. You can't have dried up concrete in the bucket and then mix up a new batch, especially when you're only doing a thin little layer. You're only doing like a 1/2 inch, 3/4 of an inch of mortar between the blocks. You could have a big stone in there, it'll get all screwed up. So you got to have a clean mixing area. That's why I use these toss away paint rolling trays. I got 5 here. They're $1 each. All right, you can slip your trowel right in here. See, I got my mortar. I only got about 20 pounds in this bucket, because that's all I'm going to need for right now. I got a plastic tarp here. This is a little scooper that I'm going to scoop out the mortar. This is a trowel, and see that? Very easy to get in and scoop out your mortar. So you're going to mix it in here. You don't need a lot for one of these blocks. You really don't need a lot. Remember, 1/2 inch high. If the block is only like this wide, so you get it in here, you mix it up. If it dries, you chuck it on the ground, you throw it out. It's $1. Doesn't matter, right? I got 5 of them here. And on this thing right here, I got the water. This right here is water. So that's a spray nozzle. That's what you use to spray, weed killer or something like that. But I got it filled with water. Rubber gloves. Use rubber gloves when you're working with cement. Especially quick drying cement. You get busy, you get distracted, get some cement on your hand, next thing you know, your hand's frozen. So you can still put work gloves on, just put them over. the rubber gloves. I'll keep rubber gloves on. It's always smart. I use these gloves, these cheap ones with the rubber grip. Because they're tight. I use these for everything. I'll get this tarp out of here. We got 4 blocks in. I still got to just chip. See, some of it's a little bit like hanging off. You can see here. Oh, but this will chip off. But what's the best way to do it is, and if you're good at this sort of stuff, you'd have like a sponge, and as soon as you put it on here, you'd sponge it and smooth it out. I've never done this before, so I couldn't manage the camera and getting this thing up in time with the rapid set. And now you can see how off this is. And the reason that's off is because the flue underneath is off. And I tried to bang it out, but it's cemented in somewhere down below that first block. Actually, this looks crooked, but in reality, this thing is a little bit, it's not as bad as it looks like. So this needs to be feathered in. What we need is mortar here on an angle, right up against the flue. And the reason we're going to do that is obviously to shed water. You don't want water sitting up here, and you don't want water getting here. Again, a sponge is probably the best way to do this. I'll take it. That's good enough for me. Oh my God. All right, I think we're done for now. Okay, it's about 24 hours later. I was going to leave it for a couple of days, but I don't think I'm going to. I think I'm going to just press on here. We got to cut the slot in with the grinder. Picked up a little cheap grinder. Should work, and I picked up a diamond blade. You need a diamond blade to cut concrete, and preferably you want a continuous blade. And continuous, I mean there's no steps in the actual saw blade. I'll show you what I mean. But something that I have. Hold on, I'm going to open up the garage door. Okay, this is that's the blade right there. See that? Continuous. A non-continuous blade. See that? That's non-continuous. Makes sense, right? Okay, so as I was saying, something I figured out. Been doing some research and so, because something didn't make any sense to me, and I couldn't figure out why. But I think I figured it out. Remember when in the first part I showed you that block with the hole in it that I just basically busted right through so easily? And you see how I mentioned that the flue is off? Remember how I mentioned that the flue was off and there was a hole there? The misalignment? Well, here's what I think happened. That misalignment let smoke out. And the smoke from an oil burner has a lot of moisture in it. That moisture escaped the hole, the misalignment, went into the back of the block, soaked the block, started going towards the front of the block, hit the waterproofing, stopped because it couldn't get through the waterproofing that was on the block, froze, and busted out the waterproofing. That's what happened. All right, here's what we got. Got some rough cut flashing. I don't even actually know if it's gonna work. It might not be long enough this way. We'll find out. I'll get up there and on. Either way, I got to cut the slot. So I got my grinder, blades on. Now this is the adhesive I'm using. I might not even need this because the freaking flashing might not work, but right, construction adhesive. This is adhesive. Now it's all weather, so hot, cold, and it's 100% waterproof, and it's very high strength. And I don't know if this is the right stuff to be using. Maybe I should just be using just silicone. I really don't know, but I feel like if it's 100% waterproof and it's super durable and it's all weather, and this has the added ability to stick it very quickly, which means I got to be ready. It holds in 30 seconds. So this is what I'm using. I doubt this is the right stuff, but I think it should work. Step one is really cut the slot. I got my piece of wood here that I'm going to use to strike the line. I'm going to use spray paint. Let's get up there and get started. Well, in looking at this, one thing I'll say is I do have to come back up here and there's a space right here that I gotta zip closed. This one probably gotta get zip closed. So if you can see the dimension here, it's real tight. See that? Doesn't look like it's gonna go. It's a little small. I think I'm gonna continue this slot, and we're just gonna have to get we'll have to get bigger flashing. This stuff is cheap anyway, so it's not a big deal. Okay, let me tell you something. You want to do this? Get yourself a brand new blade. And I tell you, if that blade was maybe $11 or $12, continuous diamond blade, this thing cuts so easy. Honestly, it cuts like a chop saw on wood. It cuts like a table saw. I mean, that's how simple it is. I just zip it right across. Now, I did a few passes. I didn't plunge it in a 3/8 of an inch. I did a couple of passes, and I used some water. I got this spray. I just sprayed it on there. But I tell you, incredibly easy. If you have a grinder or you want to spend 30 bucks plus $12 for a new blade, do it, because it's the right way to do it. You'll feel good about yourself. Without a doubt, you'll feel good about yourself. And this one I cut in. I cleaned this one out. That's good. I just got to do the other side. Without a doubt, super simple. Okay, here's the flashing I got. It's 10 feet long. This is really all I'll need. I think probably I only need about 6 feet, provided I don't screw anything up. So we're going to get 3 pieces of 2 feet. And we're going to make the bend in it. And should be pretty easy to make the bend. We'll just do it on the edge of something sharp and just whack it with the hammer. All right, we got the first piece in, sort of. Obviously, this needs to be adhered. And I'm going to clean all this up with acetone or something, so we'll get it nice and neat. But it's sealed into the joint, and it wraps around this corner, and then I have another piece to get ready. I just clipped it. I still have to fold it, though. And that's going to go in this joint here. See that? And it folds around this corner. And this one's got to get folded as well. And I probably should have folded it before I put it on, but I didn't. And I'm going to learn from that mistake by folding this one for sure. I almost screwed up. I put the adhesive in that slot before I put this one on, and I was like, wait a second, I can't put this in there. So I just ran some cardboard through it, scraped it out. So you got to put the sides on first, because you got to cap it. This one's looking a little bit better than the other one. Clearly I still got to clean it up though, and I will. I'm just waiting for it to dry a bit so that I could put this piece on. I don't want to mess with this. I don't want it to pop out, but it's in there pretty good. All right, good morning everyone. I think we're gonna wrap this project up today. And my goal was to get it done before August 1st. Today is the 30th. 30th? No, today's the 29th of July. So I'm liking that. I'm liking that. I'm gonna get everything ready. I'm gonna get my rapid set ready. I am going to seal up any of the joints that are open. And when I say seal up, I mean I'm gonna just make it neat. Clearly, rapid set's like to seal it up. It's mortar. So it's definitely gonna take on water, but I wanna make it look neat. I might even go over the block a little bit. You know, hit it with a nice, almost like a, not really, I don't wanna say it's a stucco finish because I've never done stucco. But it basically a little skim just to make it look nicer. So it doesn't look like blocks. All right, this one side here is almost done, but I am gonna hit it. Hit it with this. I got a sponge, and I also got this because there's no way to mix up enough mortar in those little tiny ones. You got to use this, so you just got to go fast. Really should be dunking the sponge into a bucket. That's really what it should be. Oh, God. I hate ladders. I had no problem with them a week ago. Now I don't want to go up another one. It's ridiculous. All right. Man, it's drying. Look at that. That was like 5 minutes ago I sprayed that. Man. It's looking good, though. It's looking real good. This one's going to be a lot longer to dry, that's for sure. Alright, let's get this plastic off here. Probably would have been a good idea to painter's tape this flashing before you go and stick it on. That would have been smart. Okay, next time I have to do a chimney. So all I did was grind down a putty knife to a razor blade. A little tedious, but I tell you, it's taking it off pretty darn good. Maybe with a little acetone. Yeah, look at that. All right, so that works. All right, the chimney is 99% of the way there. All it needs is sealer. But I need about 3 good days a row, 3 good days of sun in a row to do that. So we're going to call it finished. Project's finished. If you follow me on Instagram, I'll probably post a couple of pictures up there when I actually get it sealed. But other than that, that's it. We're going to move on to the next project, which is the big one. And I was supposed to start yesterday, but I didn't. This is the 2nd now. It's August 2nd. I got to do this deck right here. And this collapsed on the last big snowstorm. We got 3 feet of snow. And this was built, geez, I don't know, 20 years ago or something by one of the previous owners. And you can see why it collapsed. If you know anything about decks, you know why it collapsed. It's pretty obvious. I mean, like, first of all, this, I mean, you had a 50-50 shot. They picked the wrong way. And then obviously, there's no plate on the wall. So we're going to fix this thing. One person, maybe I'll get my father to come up for a couple days. But other than that, it's just going to be me fixing this deck. It's probably about, I don't know, it's 20 feet this way and it's 16 feet this way. So it's probably I don't know, 3 to 350 square feet. I got to rebuild a set of stairs, and it's a lot of work. But I got a month to do it. I want to get it done in August. That's the goal. Get it done in August. I want to be sitting on this thing, eating dinner with Sam in September. All right. If you like the chimney project, I appreciate that. It was tough work. I think you'll like the deck one even more. All right. I'll catch you in the next video. Thanks.